Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Football Tribute podcast. My name is Thomas Durning, and today I'm joined by the recently married Pierce McLaughlin. Hello, Pierce.
Hello guys, that's us back now. Back to the married man. Back
No,
for
no, no odds too. No odds too.
no, no, that's too. But back for Australia. 2 week break. But we're now back into swings. Let's go.
Aye, absolutely. So, on today's podcast, we'll be reacting to last weekend's English Premier League and Scottish Premier League results, and Pierce will be giving a rundown of all the latest Asian football news. So we'll start off as always with the English Premier League results. So on Saturday, the 21st of February, it finished Aston Villa 1, Leeds United 1, Brentford 0, Brighton 2, Chelsea 1, Burnley 1, West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0, Man City 2, Newcastle 1. On Sunday, the 22nd of February, it was Crystal Palace 1, Wolves 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3, Tottenham 1, Arsenal 4. And then on Monday, the 23rd of February, we had one match which finished Everton 0, Man United 1. So for me, the match that stands out to me the most, I'd say, is the Tottenham 1, Arsenal 4. Obviously, a North London derby. Big game for Arsenal. Obviously, they dropped points during last week against Wolves, who are bottom of the table. A big slip up there, which has now meant that Man City are right back in the title race. So obviously Arsenal going to they're going to their biggest rivals away from home, and to win that 4-1, sends out a statement that they're not going to be going anywhere. They're going to be staying there for me. Really impressive. Victor Gyökeres got 2 goals. Arsenal will be happy with that. Obviously he's had a bit of a dodgy start at Arsenal. Not hit the heights, but obviously getting 2 goals against Tottenham, that will give him a lot of confidence. And it was a really impressive and a pretty easy win for Arsenal. Thought they thoroughly deserved it, and they actually could have won by more, to be fair. Whereas Tottenham, it's dire straits. I mean, they've got a new manager, Igor Tudor. He's the new manager of Tottenham. Previously managed Juventus, and he's got a massive job in his hands because I think you'll agree, Pierce, but they're very likely to get relegated, and it's quite crazy to say that about Tottenham, but does look like that. It doesn't look good for them right now. When you watched them on Sunday as well, they just looked so off it. Like Arsenal were so much better. Tottenham didn't really. They were okay, but Arsenal were always going to be the winners of that game, in my opinion. And for Tottenham, it's very, very worrying times, and I think you have to say, well, I think they're in a relegation battle, um, and I don't think it's 100% certain that they're going to avoid it. I think they can. When I look at their squad as well, I don't really see lots of players in there that can get them out of this. So so very, very bad situation there for Tottenham. Uh, and yet, obviously, other results there: Liverpool winning in the last minute against Nottingham Forest. Big win for them, considering they're chasing the Champions League places. Um, and then obviously on Monday, Man United with another win. Michael Carrick, that's now, well, he's won all his games apart from one. He's still unbeaten so far as Man United manager. And Benjamin Sesko got the winner in that game as well. Doing really, it's going really well for Michael Carrick and Man United, and I think Man United should be seriously considering him as a manager. Uh, I think the job he's doing, and the way they're playing, and all the players just seem to be playing much better than they were under Ruben Amorim. And I definitely think Michael Carrick for me is the favourite to take that job permanently in the summer. So, but that's further down the line. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it's obviously in the Premier League. It's getting to that stage now where it's starting to get a bit more competitive, and teams are fighting for places. Whereas where it's a title race, where it's Champions League places, where it's fighting to avoid relegation, it's heating up now with 10 games to go. So really exciting times in the Premier League, and obviously with Pierce back now, we'll be back into the podcast, and we'll obviously be here for the rundown up to the end of the season, and look forward to seeing what happens. Um, so we'll move on now into the Scottish Premier League results. So on Saturday, the 21st of February, the results finished: Hearts 1, Falkirk 0, Dundee United 1, Kilmarnock 1, Aberdeen 2, Dundee 3, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 5. And on Sunday, the 22nd of February, there was two matches which finished: Celtic 1, Hibs 2, and Livingston 2, Rangers 2. So I think I've got an idea, Pierce, which match for you stands out, but I'll let you I'll let you take the stage.
Well, I'm going to go for the two. The two from teams. I think we'll start with
Yeah,
Celtic Park. Celtic won, Hibs 2. I thought Celtic obviously dominated the game for at least an hour until Austin Trusty's red card, which we'll get to. Um, but again, defensive frailties at the back. Kasper Schmeichel and the two centre halves don't cover themselves in glory. And I think Hibs on the break, they were dangerous any time they went forward and they took their chances. And I think they probably just edged the result in terms of deserving it. Because I thought Celtic for a large majority of the game did play well, but it was sometimes just a final ball or not missing easy chances. I think Thomas Fanchara was guilty of missing a few clear-cut opportunities. But again, I think the only one that seems to be scoring at the moment for Celtic is Benjamin Nygren, who's now up to 18 goals for the season for a guy that gets a lot of stick for not obviously being mobile and nice touches, but he's always seems to be in the right area. And I think as if any midfield player, if you're in the right area, um, it's hard to imagine where Celtic would be without Benjamin Nygren at the moment, to be honest. Which is a scary thought. But Hibs, obviously the first win at Celtic Park since 2010. So a pretty monumental result. Yeah, and they defended for their lives. They defended really well. And then when the opportunity to then go to 10 men for Celtic, when Austin Trusty stupidly punched Jamie McGrath in the arm, it then went to VR for a red card. For me, you can see why it was given. I don't necessarily think it is a red card, but you're giving the referee an option, because I think there's no need for it, and you've put your team in a really bad position, with 30 minutes to go, down to 10 men, and Hibs have took advantage of it because they brought in some really smart decisions in terms of subs. They brought in pace up front, and they really went for it. Um, and Celtic struggled after that. But they did obviously. There's a couple of penalty claims in the game. I thought the pull on Liam Scales for me was a clear penalty, and I think Benjamin Nygren's in the first half he tried to flick it around the corner in the box, and it was Jack Iredale on both occasions. So I think Celtic probably should have done a couple of penalties, but um, Hibs deserved a win. And then you go to the Livingston against Rangers. Livingston bottom of the table against Rangers. Um, two nil up. Probably only two shots of the game. Um, Jerome Pryor in goals was a man on a mission. He was unbelievable. Some of the saves he was making, some of the defensive blocks. And then Livingston went down to 10 men. Um, Montano got caught wrong side of Gassama and takes him down last man. For me, it's a clear red card. And with the man advantage, Rangers made them pay and they made some really attacking substitution, went to a back three. Um, and they pulled it back to two each. And then towards the end of the game, Mikey was through and goal. He gets absolutely wiped out. And the referee in VAR says, no foul, play on. It just shows you the Scottish football and the Scottish officiating this weekend has been dubious to say the least. And I think it needs to have a review because I think this VAR in Scotland is terrible. I think the decisions could affect the top of the table because it's so tight at the top of the table. In any point, any goal is monumental in terms of who will win the Scottish Premiership this season.
Yeah, obviously Sunday was the day that was probably with the biggest results. So surprisingly, you don't see every weekend Celtic Rangers not winning, but that was the case. Um, Obviously, everything you said there about Celtic is I agree with. You know, just just didn't play well at all for me. Didn't play enough. Obviously they had most of the ball in the match, but didn't really create a lot of clear cut chances. Obviously, you were saying there about Benjamin Negrin. I think it's 18 goals a season, and he's always the one that pops up with all the goals for Celtic. And as you said, I don't think if he wasn't in that team, I think Celtic would be in a worse position. Um, yeah, they just don't create enough chances. Celtic. I don't really know when you watch them, you don't really understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, put it this
and
way, Tom.
it's
The top goal for Celtic, striker wise, is Kelechi Iheanacho with 3 goals.
yeah, and he wasn't even in the squad at the weekend, which is again baffling. I don't understand that. So it's at Celtic. There's just a lot of problems. It's been a very, very, you know, strange season for Celtic. Just a lot of no consistency whatsoever. They've went through four different managers, two the same with Martin O'Neill. There's been a fan. Some fans have been banned from Celtic Park, and yeah, just in the squad just doesn't look in good shape. So it's just not been a good season for Celtic at all. And that defeat against Hibs at the weekend, for me, it means that Celtic and Rangers they play on Sunday. For me, means that Celtic have to win that if they have any chance of. They have to go to Ibrox and win if they have any chance of winning the championship at the end of the season. Which and at the moment it's all up in the air. You don't know. So that was obviously the standout match. Obviously for Hibs, it's a great result for them. The first win at Celtic Park since 2010. Played really well, defended brilliantly, and scored two really good goals. And yep, they'll be pushing. Obviously for Hibs, they'll be pushing to. They're in fifth at the moment. I think them finishing in the top four is probably out of their hands now. But yeah, they've had a pretty strong season anyway. So really good result for Hibs. And then obviously Livingston and Rangers 2-2. When you're seeing that Livingston are 2-0 up against Rangers, you're thinking what's going on there. Livingston can't buy a win this season, and all of a sudden it's the shock of the season. But obviously Livingston go down to 10 men shortly after they score the second goal. Rangers get back into it. I think it's via Fernandez, and then
What a goal, by the way.
yeah, it was a really good goal. And then who was it scored second goal? It was
Mike Camille.
Mikey Moore. Yeah, he gets and then obviously you were saying about the potential penalty at the end.
I think it was outside the
Um,
box, but
I think it was just outside the box, but if that was inside the
potentially.
box, I think that's a penalty.
But I think if
So
it's outside the box, it's a red card.
yeah.
If it's inside the box, it's a yellow card because double jeopardy.
Oh God, yeah. I don't have no idea. I don't know how that works, but it's I don't know. That's just referees and VAR and stuff. But yeah. So obviously with Celtic and Rangers dropping points, it obviously means it's been a great weekend for Hearts. They won 1-0, so they've got a little bit of a cushion now at the top of the table. And I mean we've got 10 games to go, but if you're making a prediction right now, you're safe to say that, or you wouldn't be stupid to say that Hearts are the favourites to win this title this season. Um, the only thing with Hearts, but is that they do have a few injuries. Stuart Finlay came off the weekend; he's now out for 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Shankland's still out for another six weeks.
Agu get
Two
ruled
big
out
players there. Agu,
out for the
the record
season.
signing. Yeah, he's out for the season. So
Craig Gordon's out
they do
until
have some
the
injuries.
Craig Gordon's out to the next international break.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, missing Beningame and Cammy Devlin as well. So they do have a lot of injuries to big players, and it's just how long they can keep this keep churning out results to try and cement a place at the top of the table. We don't know how that long will last. But it's
Regardless,
really good.
Tom, it's going to go down to the wire, I think.
Yeah, it's really good. And actually, you have to mention Motherwell. I think Motherwell deserved. I mean, they won 5-0 at the weekend away from St Mirren. They're 4 points behind Celtic. Now, if Celtic get beat, at the weekend, and Motherwell win. Motherwell are only but a point behind Celtic. And listen, I actually do think, in my opinion, Motherwell have been the best team this season with the way they play.
Football wise, yes.
Uh, yeah,
Football wise,
the
yes. And
manager. I mean, what a job he's done.
if you've seen the stat as well with Motherwell, they've conceded the least goals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
18
they've
goals in
got
the
least
league.
defeats. They've only got, I think, the defeats as well. They've
Yeah.
only got like 3 defeats this season. They're just a brilliant team. They really are. The manager, the job that manager's done, Gianberto Asco, has
Mm.
been wow.
I don't know if you've
It's
seen
what
the
a
clips
terrific
on
job.
social media. I think you've seen, I don't know if it was Cafe or was it Stephen O'Donnell.
Aye,
He's dinking the ball over players and all that,
better one O'Donnell.
and you're like, what is, like, he's doing this to like, seasoned
Yeah, yeah,
professional have played in a certain way, and he just transformed this whole squad. It's
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah. It really is. It's such a good job he's done. And they're definitely. And I mean, I don't know about the title, but they're definitely going to give Celtic and Rangers a push and try and get ahead of them towards the end of the season. It's exciting. I actually think it's exciting. It's probably this is for me. This is the best Scottish Premier League league like in terms of season for
Hmm.
as long as I can remember in my life. I've never seen really this situation, and it's good to watch. It really is good. Um,
This is down to the fact that Rangers and Celtic have taken the foot off the gas,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and they think that they can just win the league by not being fully prepared. And then
yeah,
Motherwell have done the business well, Hearts have done the business well, and they're pushed them all the way. And who's to
yeah.
say that Hearts won't win the league? Motherwell might come second, Rangers and Celtic fifth, third, and fourth. That could happen.
I mean, that
That would
would be
be
crazy. It really
that
would.
would be unbelievable to be able. It would be you wouldn't believe it. Like you think it's like
Yeah, you wouldn't
football
believe it.
manager,
You would never see that happening.
but that's
I mean,
because
that would be
Celtic and
it. Really
Rangers,
would.
Celtic and Rangers this season, nobody fears them. The fear
Yeah,
factor's
yeah,
gone.
yeah, yeah. I think every team goes to play Celtic and Rangers now, and they're desperate to, and they think they can get a result. So it just shows that a fear factor's not there anymore with the two big Glasgow clubs. So yeah, no, I totally agree with what you say. But it's just going to. But I said it to you at the end, just after we talked about the English Premier League that obviously like that we're into the rundown the end of the season now. It's going to even get even better because
Yeah,
obviously there's going to be more each match that goes by. It's more. There's going to be more at stake.
yeah.
Teams like the top 4 teams, Motherwell, Hearts, Celtic, Rangers. They can't really afford to drop points, so they'll be
No,
going into each game desperate to win. So
and they'll be playing each other
uh,
as well.
yeah, so it's really exciting. It really is, and really look forward to the weeks ahead. And yeah, obviously we'll be covering that in the weeks to come.
So Tom, obviously a big game this weekend, Celtic versus
Yeah.
Rangers. What's your thoughts?
Uh, what's my thoughts? Well, that's a good question. I honestly don't know because usually you go into this game and they're always tight games, but usually they're always this kind of a favourite in terms of the form. But I mean, I would say Rangers have been slightly in better. They're in better form than Celtic, but am I that convinced with Rangers? I don't know. No, I'm not. Um, if you had to push me, I'd probably say Rangers are the favourites to win that game, just considering that at Ibrox, Celtic are off a defeat, not playing really well at the moment. Um, and obviously Celtic have to go to Stuttgart during the week, so they have that away travel. So just putting all that into the mix, I would say Rangers are probably the favourites. And if Rangers did win that match, I have said that. For me, I think that rules Celtic out the title race. So it's quite a it's quite a big game. Well, it is a big game. Um, so for me, I'm going to say Rangers will probably win, and they are the favourites. But um, you don't know. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. What be you, Pierce?
I agree with you. I think Rangers are massive favourites for me. I think Celtic are in poor form. Rangers slightly better form. But Rangers scoring goals and Celtic just struggle to score goals and defensively, they're a shambles. So I think Kasper Schmeichel for me is done. I think he's too old. and I think he's just a weakness, and I think teams will target that, and I think Rangers defence I think are slightly better. Um, Again, not great. I think Rangers just edge it, and I think obviously in a bit better form. And I think for me, like you say, I think if Celtic do lose this Old Firm game at the weekend, I think they will be out the title race. And the fact that Celtic haven't won an Old Firm game this season, so they're wanting to break that duck as well. So for me, it's massive. And I think that the beneficiary of this result this weekend would be Hearts, because I think they were licking their lips,
Yeah,
hoping
yeah.
that hoping that both teams
Well,
turn.
they'll need to do their business, obviously. They
Yeah,
play
they'll
Aberdeen.
need to do their business when they play Aberdeen. It'll be a tough game.
Yeah,
But they'll be hoping that Celtic and Rangers, probably the best shot for them is a draw. So both teams drop points and they can push further away.
yep, absolutely. Yep, really interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we'll cover it next week. So, for the final part of the show, Pearson will give his Asian football roundup.
There's no news, mate. So
And there's none. Well, that was a lot. Okay, so uh, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Football Tribute podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Tribute YouTube channel and also the Football Tribute website. Thanks for listening and see you soon.
bye bye.